In 1970, this morning's guest came to Horry Georgetown Technical College to teach. And he taught, and he sold a few books. Now he's president. Meet Neyle Wilson, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Elizabeth Maddox Chapin Library on the Grand Strand campus of Horry Georgetown Technical College. We're focused on the college and we're visiting with its president, Neyle Wilson. Good morning, President Wilson.
Greg. Good to see you again.
Thanks so much for letting us in. Obviously the library's not yet open. It'll be open in a little bit, but it's great to get on in here early and of course to get you in. Do you mind if we call you Neyle early on a Thursday morning?
Absolutely, Greg.
This is tremendous.
If I can call you Greg, you call me Neyle.
Well, let's think about, no, that's perfect. I love it. Absolutely. You know, it seems last time we were together about 4.5 years ago. It's been quite a while. We were here on the base, but we were at the studios there, the Herald's location.
That's exactly right.
And the former.
You had Mickey Splain there that same day.
We did that same week, which was tremendous. I can't remember who else was with us, but of course Mickey really stands out, who's no longer with us, but obviously is with us in spirit.
In fact, I think you shortened my segment a little bit to extend Mickey's, if I'm not mistaken. He was on a roll that day. So
that he was, if you remember.
Wonderful fellow.
His wife was there in the audience, and some other folks were there, and it was really a treat. He was an amazing guy.
Quite some stories. What a man.
Absolutely. It seems like at that time, I think I remember one of your sons was a 1L at Emory down in Atlanta. Another one was a junior at Wofford, and I believe your daughter was a junior in high school.
That's correct.
Time has flown.
Ratchet up to today, my 1L son has graduated from Wofford and is working with a law firm in Atlanta, and from Emory and with a law firm in Atlanta, and then my junior at Wofford has graduated. He went to law school last year, decided he didn't like it, so he's looking to see what he needs to do if he's going to go back and get a graduate degree in business at USC.
Right.
And my daughter is a rising senior at Coastal.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to get out of the tuition degree.
She is out of not only high school, having been a junior then, and
she'll be 21 in June.
That's amazing, Neyle.
It is. They grow up in a hurry.
What are y'all going to do? You and, is it Ann?
Well, Ann, we already have an empty nest syndrome. We're already struggling with it. In fact, our daughter started off at College of Charleston and stayed there 1 year, and she came home that summer and says, I'm not sure I like being at the College of Charleston, so I said, why don't you go to Coastal for a semester while you decide? I hadn't been able to get it away. We don't see her as much as she's at Coastal we do when she's in Charleston.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So she really loves Coastal. That's been real good for her.
That is tremendous. Well, of course, to have three, and do the one in Atlanta, does he get back often, or y'all end up going out?
Yeah, in fact, he's getting married this June, the 28th of June. He is marrying a classmate, and they will be married in Austin, Texas. So we've seen quite a bit of them with the parties that we've been having for his wedding.
I bet you have. A month ago yesterday. That is tremendous. A month from now, when you think about opportunities like that, of course, to see your children not only get out of school, get out of college, get out of graduate school, but then to get married, it really...
Especially when you know that they are marrying the right person and they're in love and all the things that you wish for them coming true. So, yeah, very much tremendous. So. We're really excited about it.
About yourself, Neyle, you originally from the area?
I'm originally from Sumter, South Carolina, and grew up there and went to Clemson. Right. Graduated, and we were beginning to get into the recession of the 71 and 72 around, and decided I needed to try to find something than what I was doing, and came to Horry Georgetown Tech in 1970 to teach, thinking maybe it would be a 1 or 2 year assignment. As we got through. Back then, the gas crisis it went to 49 cents a gallon.
No.
That lets you know the difference in today. But you could only get $3 worth on odd days, and they went by your license plate. So it's very similar to what's going on now, other than you can actually get gas.
Right.
So went there thinking I'd stay a couple of years, and fell in love with the teaching process. Fell in love with a Myrtle Beach native.
Yes.
And with a wonderful family that treats me like a king, and so I decided might as well stay here a while.
You won't be treated like a king in Sumter or Clemson or even Columbia.
It's hard to go back home sometimes.
Absolutely. Do you still have family around the state or any in Sumter there?
I have a brother.
Right.
My older brother is the only family member I have left. So, yeah, he's living in Sumter and he's in the banking business.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. Well, of course, Horry County has grown so much. At that time, was Marion County, am I correct, that Marion was involved with Horry Georgetown? Or
well, in the original concept of Horry Georgetown Technical College, they borrowed Marion's name, so it was, believe it or not, Horry Georgetown Marion Technical Education Center, because they needed Marion County's population to get up to 100,000 people in order to qualify.
Right.
And they kept that name till about 1969.
Okay, so right before you arrived, they.
Yeah.
And then Marion, is it on its own, or it's part of
Marion?
Florence?
Marion stayed on its own. It's a non-participating county. I think now it does participate, but it's with Florence Darlington.
Right, right. Obviously, the counties have not changed other than having grown a lot,
yeah.
but Horry Georgetown has changed dramatically. At that time, was it just a campus there in Conway, or was there also
it was
a
a campus with 2 buildings on Conway. Had about 300 students, about 15 faculty members, and now it's a campus that's approaching 6,000 with 3 different campuses and about 180 faculty members. So it has grown significantly.
Golly,
It really has.
What really stands out in your mind? Clearly, the numbers growth are dramatic. Is it adding on campuses? Is it the Georgetown location? Of course, this magnificent.
Oh, this has been a real coup for the county, because when they closed the air base, we were able to pick up approximately 100 acres from the Department of Education at no cost to the taxpayers, and we had 6 buildings. This is one of them. This used to be the officers club, the air base, the library that we were in. We picked up those facilities for nothing, and we put probably $5.5 to $6 million in renovating these facilities.
Right.
And I would say it's probably got a real estate assessed value of $45 to $50 million.
Oh, easily.
And again, at no cost to the taxpayers, it provided a presence at Myrtle Beach that we needed, and ultimately will probably be our biggest campus, because we have 100 acres here and only 55 acres in Conway. So
I didn't know that.
Just from an acreage standpoint, this will eventually be.
Right. Well, of course it is. Last week we were filming at Coastal Carolina University. We were there in the E. Craig Wall Senior School of Business Administration, and hearing Dr. DeCenzo talk about their big desire to get a Grand Strand campus, having lost their presence at Myrtle Square Mall, and of course him thinking about Horry Georgetown having this really mammoth facility here. I mean, as you said, almost twice the size of your Conway campus, and they, like Horry Georgetown, has a presence down in Georgetown County, but nothing here right in the heart of the beach. It's critical.
Yeah, and they're looking for a place, but in the interim, what we've been able to do since the mall where they were, Myrtle Square Mall, closed down, they are using several of our classrooms in the evening.
I didn't know that.
So
right
they do
here.
they do have. What's occurring, though, this campus is growing and will significantly have a growth spurt this fall, because all of our health care programs will move over to this campus in our new Robbie Spear building.
Right.
So that's going to really begin to cramp the availability. So they recognize it. They got to start finding something that has more permanency to it than taking our vacant facilities. Okay. But on either campus, the Conway campus and the Grand Strand campus, we are certainly willing to share them any vacancies that we have. Right. Another quick example, they are been desperate to build a science building. And so what they're doing now is remodeling the existing one, and while they're remodeling, we've offered them the use of all of our science labs during our vacant periods of time to help them get over this hump.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing a lot of things to be cooperative and congenial with each other.
Yes, and he talked about a number of them that are currently working very well. In addition to those, of course, the campus security, I believe.
Campus security. We are in a cooperative agreement with the Quail Creek Golf Course.
Right.
Where we're helping manage the grounds, and they're running the business part of it.
Right.
We have transfer agreements in basically all of our programs. They are looking to develop and have gotten approval to develop a BSN, Bachelor's Degree in Nursing, that will be a 2+2 with our Associate Degree in Nursing, which will allow our students to go ahead and take the registration, become a registered nurse. Often some of them will go to work, and the hospital can assist them to get the next 2 years. Or they can go straight on to Coastal and get their BSN, but it gives them a safety net because they already have 1 degree and they'll already be registered. They take the same registration as a baccalaureate degree nurse. So if you're a registered nurse, you're a registered nurse.
They've gotten approval. It hadn't yet happened, but it's rolling
forward. They've gotten
forward.
approval. We will likely initially house their program at our Spear building.
That's tremendous. I'm so glad you mentioned the Spear Building. We're a stone's throw away. July 11th, I believe.
July 11th will be our
the
dedication.
Big day. I know there's a private dedication early, and then later on, really open up to the public.
It'll be 11 o'clock. It'll be open up to the public.
Right.
It's a wonderful facility. It's something that we have desperately needed as a college for a long time. We have really moved into the healthcare arena because they're some of the best paying jobs in the county. In fact, to us, healthcare is the high-tech industry that we're looking at in a tourist-dominated economy. Right. So we've expanded, going to move it over here. The reason we ended up putting it over here is because of availability of the old military hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to Buddy Stires and the Myrtle Beach Redevelopment Authority.
Right.
They allowed us to get that at a very reasonable price. We raised almost $10 million and have renovated that facility, and we will be occupying it in the fall of '08. So
that is amazing, Neil. Congratulations.
It is a wonderful facility. The problem is, as all are, we're already running out of space. So we got some issues there about how we can grow, and looking at some other options for that.
Some potential budget impacts as well on the
in terms of capital dollars, the state has not had a bond bill since Governor Sanford has been in office, and he's got 6 years or 7 years, whatever it is. So you got all this pent-up need. So everybody that's building things had to go out and try to find private dollars. But there's probably close to $1 billion worth of need in South Carolina in higher education. Our need is around $80 million, and Coastal's need is probably $250 is what David tells me. Right. We're going to do a lot of renovation of some facilities because they were built 35 and 40 years ago, and just don't have the infrastructure for us to do what we want to do in terms of instructional technology. So the other cut that we're going to take this year, because we've had a downturn in the economy, the House has a 3.8% budget cut, and the Senate has a 4.1%. So you can probably safely say that in the conference committee, we're probably going to come up with about a 4% budget cut that we will take this year.
Boy, Neil.
But everybody's taking it.
Right.
And it's obvious that the economy is turned down on some.
Right.
And so you can't fuss about that. But I just hope that they do the cutting they need to do at the start of the year. What really hurts us from a planning and budgeting standpoint is when they cut your budget in the mid-year.
Midstream. Oh, I bet.
And it really throws you for a loop.
Speaking of the economy, a lot of folks may need to get off to work now or get family off to school. What is the best phone number? Is there a good website? Of course, we got the website. Is there a good phone number for viewers to use?
Well, I thought you might ask that. Each campus has a phone number, so I want to make sure that I give them to you right. The Conway campus is 347 3186.
3186. Good.
The Grand Strand campus is 477 0808.
Okay, great.
And the Georgetown campus is 546 8406.
And of course, viewers can call because your continuing education numbers are so astronomical. It was amazing when I saw reading some facts and figures about the Century Club, just on some ideas of raising funds, folks in the community, that the full-time credit student numbers are around 51, 52. They may even be higher than that this fall, 100. And that the continuing education numbers were in the tens of thousands.
Yeah, the credit numbers are up to almost 5,800. And the non-credit numbers fluctuate between 12 and 15,000 students per year.
You know, to have that many flowing through the campus on the, and are they're at locations, of course, they're in Georgetown, they're here, they're at the Conway campus, or they're in other locations as well?
And they can be in other locations. We also have a partnership with Fortune Real Estate, so all that training goes through us and flows through us. So we will do the training anywhere we need to do it. It's customized. It can be done on a business site or a manufacturing site. So we are all over the two counties.
Of course, that hgtc.edu has so much tremendous information online. You really viewers need to go to the library. They can even come to this library. Go to a library, find a good library to utilize, to go online to learn more about the incredible number of continuing education opportunities, if not thinking about being a full-time student.
That's correct. All of our libraries have computers, and they're open. All three of our libraries on all three of our campuses are open to the public. The Conway Library is even open up for 2-3 hours on Saturday, so the public are welcome to come and access our libraries and access our computer systems.
Okay, that's great. Conway, 347-3186, here on the Grand Strand campus, 477-0808. And of course the Georgetown campus, 546-8406, both for regular student or for full-time students or even part-time students as well as
continuing ed students.
That's great. That's great. You know, you think about all the activities going on in the two counties, and of course to see you, Neyle, on a base, how do you spend time traveling around and of course still meeting with folks, as you highlighted, with the state, with the budget cuts happening? Obviously you have to turn to the private community to help supplement some of the potential impact that the lack of supply of dollars from the state or even the county or other places. How do you spend your day?
Well, fortunately I have an outstanding staff. I think probably my executive staff would be as good as any two-year college in this state.
Yeah.
So I can leave knowing that the campuses are being run efficiently and appropriately. And so what I do is I try to plan out my week through my secretary, and she sort of points her finger and says, you got to be here at this time and there at this time. And it is kind of confusing at times, but I love the interaction and the fact that you get to meet a lot of people. I do miss the fact that I don't necessarily see students as often as I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to do better this year. That's sort of one of my resolutions, to try to get out and spend more time with our students. But we'll pull a lot of different directions because we're expected to be in Columbia, we're expected to deal with our delegations, we're expected to be on several committees that would deal with workforce development, so it's very time consuming.
Oftentimes there's also interaction with the counties of Horry and Georgetown as well. You know, on that sign outside of the Dr. Spear Healthcare Center, you see between a partnership of the Myrtle Beach Air Base Redevelopment Authority, between Horry County and obviously private citizens.
Yeah, Horry County came through with some bond money for us to help us with that building. The Myrtle Beach Redevelopment Authority gave us significant dollars.
Oh yeah.
That's how we raise them. The thing about that facility is there is not any state dollars in that facility.
Is that right?
Not zero state dollars. Now they will help us maintain the buildings over the years, but there's no state dollars right now.
That is tremendous.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, I guess that's good. I would like to have some help from them, but the fact that we were able to go out and raise this kind of money in a relatively small community, to me is amazing, and I think says a lot about what they feel about this institution and its effect on the workforce.
One of the other tremendous things, it's a lot easier to go to them to ask for some support for the building after they haven't been involved in making it happen.
Right.
After they weren't capable of being involved, either from financial strain or otherwise, to be able to go to them and say, well, now that we've paid for it, can you help us, as you said, maintain it or maybe add to it when there's a next edition or some other. It is a magnificent facility, of course, with the American Red Cross. It's Horry, Georgetown, and Williamsburg County location. Its main branch is right there next door. I'm sure there'll be a great symbiotic relationship there.
There will be, and we're hoping one day that they'll want to move and we can buy their existing facility and expand on that site, because recognizing that healthcare is going to be an industry that we need to continue to provide workforce for. As I said earlier, it's one of our better paying jobs in terms of our two-year graduates. Almost 80% of first responders, that would be your police, your EMT, and those types of people, firemen, are coming out of two-year college programs. So you will continue to see that in the future. So it's very important that we have a facility and have the capacity to do the training for these kinds of jobs that are coming up.
Right. Neyle, a few minutes ago you talked about spending more time with students and that being one of your resolutions. That was not necessarily being in the classroom, but instead just being out on the campuses.
Going to our canteen, walking out on the campuses, talk to them. I need to get to more of our allied health pinning ceremonies. I try to get to as many of those as I can. They're very heartwarming, and of course you've been to our foundation when we do our appreciation luncheon to see how much these young men and women appreciate what's being done, and some of the stories of sacrifice that our students go through, because they are non-traditional students. Our average age is 26 years old. We are predominantly female. You get into some of our programs, for example, like our nursing program, our average student age is 31 years old. And when you're 26 and 31 years old, you have a set of living responsibilities and financial concerns that often 18-year-old students don't have.
Right.
And so they're considered non-traditional students. So many of these women have children, and I don't think they have a minute downtown at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Wow. So how they study and do what they do in very difficult subject matters is amazing to me.
That is.
And we hear those testimonies at these pinnings, and it's just amazing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We've seen those, and to meet some of your students down on the Georgetown campus, the folks that are active in the nursing program down there, the women and men who are involved in that program, and to know that there's going to be such a tremendous presence here, it's amazing.
And we were 85, our student body is 85% Horry and Georgetown students.
Is it that large?
The thing that's great about the two counties that we serve is that the people that are born here, for the most part, would like to stay here. Mm-hmm. And if you can provide them with good paying jobs, they will stay here, and your attrition becomes almost insignificant. So that's one of the things that the hospitals are so pleased about. They're able to hire Horry and Georgetown County students and not go to Canada and other places where they were having to go several years ago to find registered nurses. And so their attrition rates are down.
That is tremendous.
And that's saving them money, and ultimately that saves all of us money.
Absolutely. And the folks who already have a presence here, not that they should take less money, but they already know the community, and they know where they're situated oftentimes. They know the best places to live. They know the places close to the hospital to live. They don't have to take as much time moving into a community and get ramped up.
And often they know the patients.
Right. Great point. Great point. You know, you think about, of course, some of the big, just being in the classroom, I want to ask that. Of course, having gotten your master's in education there, I think it was in '76, so a little more than 30 years ago. Had you had that love when you came here, of course, just thinking it would be a couple of years, did you end up staying in the classroom a good while? Or did you move into administration?
Well, I began in '70, and I stayed in the classroom till about '75.
Okay.
And then I became the evening director.
Right.
And then the continuing ed. Then I was VP for academic affairs. Then I was VP for business. Then I was executive VP. I sold books. I did about everything there. And I just finally outlived everybody else and finally said, what are we going to do to Wilson? That gave me the presidency. So
I love it. I love it. Well, of course, we saw Kent Sharples, who had been here, I think I remember, was it the early 80s until 99?
I think Kent came in '81.
Right.
He was there 19 years.
Right.
And stayed. He came prior to '81. Did, but anyway, I can't remember
99. Right.
He was here about 19 years.
Right.
He's at Daytona Community College. He's a president.
Is that right? Is he a good boss?
Yeah, great boss.
Yeah.
Did a great job here, and is doing a super job in Florida as well.
Yes. When you think about commitments and contacts like that, and to see a almost 20-year tenure, you're contemplating, obviously you've been here a good while, you know the campus as well as anybody. There's probably not a nook or cranny, as you said, having sold books and done it all, probably not an area you don't know.
There's not, if there are, I don't think so. I will, in terms of retirement, which I guess is the direction you're trying to take me, I think probably in the next 3 years.
Well, no, I wasn't going there.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to tell you.
We've got a little more time.
Everybody keeps asking me, when are you going to retire? You've been there longer than the school almost. Probably in 3 years. I want to get Elizabeth through school.
Great.
And if Alec goes on to graduate school, I'll need to help him out, and then we'll probably be probably ready to do something different.
That really keeps you focused on students in a way that a lot of college presidents or others can't, where you have students who are actually in college, even if they're at Coastal Carolina University or in graduate school or in law school. Really a great way to bond with the students here locally, particularly as your children get older and are, as you said, the average age here at 26 and the average age in the nursing program at 31. You're really able to bond with those students.
Yeah, and you know, your students, I mean, your kids humble you too, because issues that you hear about students in your own school all of a sudden become issues for your children. And when they, all of a sudden, the issue that was not a big deal when it was somebody else's child or another student becomes a big issue to you, so it makes you more empathetic about what goes on in the lives of students and how often they get confused and can't find the answers or can't get someone to give them an answer. So,
absolutely,
which is all about the service, which is where we have a lot of pride, and hopefully we do a better job of that than other institutions.
Well, we want to talk about service. We want to talk more about Horry, Georgetown, and the communities here, and obviously about the foundation and the tremendous work in the community of the foundation. Would you be willing to come back? We've run out of time. Spend a little more time with us tomorrow morning?
Be glad to.
Tremendous.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. A little more with the president of Horry, Georgetown Technical College, Neyle Wilson, coming up next. Can you think of a better opportunity for area businesses than to turn to Horry Georgetown Technical College. Can you think of a better one? I can't come up with one as you sit here with President Wilson, and we're thankful to be able to get him back tomorrow. But think about that: 85% of the head count here on the college campus, Horry and Georgetown County natives. 85%. Think of that impact for area business, whether it's hospitals, whether it's law firms, whether it's massage therapy locations, just think about it, the list goes on and on. The opportunity to have folks who already know the area, who, as you heard Neyle mention, can communicate with patients oftentimes because they grew up around those family members. It's a real opportunity. Think about your local college. Think about your local college when you think about either attending or for your children or grandchildren, or possibly look to that same college to help support some of their tremendous programs. They're trying to grow. They need support. They need private support. They need public support. Call your legislator and say, please help Horry Georgetown Technical College. Learn more about the college online at hgtc.edu, hgtc.edu. You heard Neyle say it, the libraries here in Conway and Georgetown are open to the public, and even the Conway campus open on Saturdays. Take the time to learn more about the college. Go online. Neyle Wilson, thanks so much for being with us this morning.